Here's another place where the water's getting in. See, here's the 4x12 stair treads. And because of the way they framed it and built it, see, that 4x12 goes all the way to the outside of that little wall, okay? And then the 2x6 is holding it up. So see how they stuccoed it? Boom, ba boom, ba boom, ba boom, ba boom. So when it rains and when water gets on these stairs, where does it go? Right through that crack. Right down the side of that crack. Right down through that crack. And on it goes. See that? So when I get all done, I'm going to have to reseal these. And I think this 4x12 has dry rot right in there. I may have to dig that out, put some patch material there. And I'm going to do something different on these steps. See how they're all checking like that? See that? That's not very good, is it? I may have to clean that up a little bit, gouge out some of the loose stuff, and put some patch filler in there. Look at these. See the paint's come off there. Look down here. See those cracks? That's right on your 4x12. And guess where that water goes? Right down through there onto your stair stringers, and it creates moisture underneath the deck, underneath the stairs, grows the fungus and everything you saw underneath the stairs. And right here, these 4x12s are butted right up to the stucco, and then they got the joist, half the joist hanger on there. Well, guess where that water goes? Right through that crack and down the stucco on the inside. It just causes more moisture. So see, all of that I'm gonna have to seal one step at a time. You keep watching these videos and I'll show you what I'm gonna do with that. See, here's the first riser. See that first wood riser underneath that metal flashing? Look, see that nice lovely crack along there? Where do you suppose that water goes? Right down there, causing some of the dry rot damage under there. You see that? And right there along that crack. Right there up against the column. The big tall column that gets water on it. When it rains, comes down, and water always finds the holes and the gaps and the cracks. See those cracks? Look at that. You know, couldn't they have filled those up? Couldn't they have caulked those and caulked this a little better? Look at that. Looks like they might have caulked it once upon a time, maybe 17 years ago. But there's something called maintenance that you have to do throughout the years. The caulking is only so good. These 4x12s, when they dry out, they can move a little bit, they can shrink a little bit, they can break the cracks of the caulking, of which that's what they've done. See, it looks like they might have tried to caulk that years ago when they first installed them, but haven't been touched since, have they? A lot of issues here. But hey, if I didn't fix it, somebody else would have to fix it. So it might as well be me, and I'm lucky enough to bring it to you. Just wanted to show you this up close and personal. This is where the side is. And see all that? That's exactly how it was. I have not touched it. See, the rubber has pushed down, and all this gets water, because when the water comes down on the stucco, you have to remember, it doesn't just drip straight off. You'd have to have that last little bit flare out a little bit, because when the water hits that, it travels, it just hugs that and goes straight across before it drips. And it could travel You could travel about a ½ an inch before it hits, and that's about how thick that drip guard is. I'll have to clean that stucco edge off too. And you see, so all that, I've got to protect it, and I wasn't quite sure. I looked over here on this other side, so I already cut this off, and I wasn't quite sure if I should take this off. I got it loose, so it's peeled up. I'm not sure how far above this it goes. Chances are, see, what they should have done is the paper should be on here, and then this should come up from the bottom, and then it should overlap. But I think they just went down to this trim with their paper, and then the paper on the back side of this goes down on top of the trim lip. And so I think I can cut this off right there, and then I'll have to make sure to tie all this in nice and tight before I call it good. So I might cut all this out to this back side. But you see the weep holes I was talking about? See that one right there? Now see, when the water comes on there, it's going to go out that. But look at this hole. It's a 1/4 inch, 3/16 above the inside corner. So the water would have to go up that high before it goes out of that. Same thing with that one. It's up almost 3/16. Now look at this one. Well, that one's covered up. Looks like there's some caulking from the back side. That one's not even working. Look how small that little pinhole is. And it's up 1/8. That one's up 1/8. That one's up 1/8. And look at that big gap at the end. Well, Joe, the water will go through there on the outside. Yeah, it can. And that stucco's probably cracked right there all the way down. But again, see where all this is here? Where do you suppose it went? Went down on the back side of this, went down on the back side of this 2x6, and this is the OSB plywood on the wall. It actually came in from the top there, went on the back side, hit the back of this, and it acted as a sponge, and it soaked it all the way up to here. The water wasn't leaking from here, it's leaking from way back there, and it just soaked this out. Same thing, see, all the way down. It's on the back side of that 2x6, because all the water over the years went down behind that 2x6, and it graduated out this way. And because it was so bad along here, it went down this, and you can see that was major, went on the back of this 2x6, and it came out from there, from here to about there. See how then it dissipates a little bit, and it's all, we know it's all back in there. See, this OSB plywood is good from here to here, but not there, not there. That might be superficial stuff, but I think I might have to take that off. See this here? Look, you're not supposed to be able to do that. Look at that. See? It's not because it leaked underneath this stucco. Now you see where I'm getting at? This was all messed up here. Water came on down like this, kind of went down that way, went up over in that, came down. It came on the inside, see, because the more moisture you've seen right in here rather than over this way further. See, it's right there, but not there, not there. Here it's more, this 2x6 is more discolored from here up, not necessarily down at the bottom. You can see exactly what's going on. Okay, so I'm gonna clean this out here. I just wanted to briefly show you this, and I'll scrape this up because I want this nice. This is a stucco edge. It's like an L-shaped piece of trim, metal trim, like a U shape that goes up this way. See, just goes up about 1/4 inch. Then it goes across ½ an inch, and then on the back side probably goes up 1.25 inches. And they put that on there first. They decided where to put that before they put the chicken wire and the paper on, the chicken wire on, and all that kind of stuff. That's how they did these walls. Nowadays they don't necessarily do. See, this is just the wood, and then they've got paper, black tar paper, and they put the chicken wire on there. Sometimes they do that now, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they put foam insulation panels on their strips that are maybe 2 feet wide and 6 feet long or something, and they nail that on first, and then they might put the chicken wire on there after that, and that creates a little bit of an insulating factor and maybe one less go of stucco. Although this stucco is very thin. Most stucco, when they do it this way, that's usually about an inch thick or so. This doesn't look that thick, does it? It's like they did a very minimal thickness. See there? Not very thick at all. Not impressed with how they did this. If they did this column that way, chances are they did the rest of the house that way too, huh? But hey, such is life in the big city. Oh, I'm just about done for the day. I scraped off all the stuff up in here. I just want it all down. It was all down here, and I scraped it all, each one of these bays with my putty knife. See it? All the stuff was sticking up there, along there. I gotta just have that kind of air out. And Momi, my wife, she had a good idea. She says, hey, what's going to happen to this hole now down here? Are any raccoons going to go down through there? Or skunk, squirrel, bird flying in? Who knows what? And I said, well, yeah, as a matter of fact, this was how I got in here initially, to view this area underneath here to see all of the damage. And see, I had to cut that hole in too. They did the home inspection. The guy couldn't get underneath this area to look at any of this. He didn't mention anything. He didn't say, hey, something looks suspect there. We can't gain access. We would have had somebody tell the previous owners, hey, you got to gain access. We got to cut a hole through this wall and through that wall so we can see up underneath these decks to make sure they're okay. Had we have done that and had somebody have mentioned that, we would have had them do that prior to closing, and then a whole can of worms would have came up, and we would have had to have lowered our price, figured out how much it's going to cost to redo all this. But anyways, I cut this from the back side because I was in there to come out here, so I had to cut this so it's all angled the right way. I said, hey, I'll just use the same piece that came out of here. See? Just like that. And I'll take some long sheetrock screws, my 3-inch long screws, maybe put a couple screws over here, a couple screws over there, you know, to hit the 2x6 back in there. See, I don't need any backing for this or anything. When we get all done, this will be the access hole for this area. Once you get underneath the house, then you can come in here and do all that kind of stuff. So I got to get my drill, some 3-inch screws before I call it a night. And I'll probably take this ladder in too. I don't want to leave it out here. This ladder was really super expensive. And I'll bring it back inside, clean up a little bit, and we'll start again tomorrow. You gonna be around to see me tomorrow? I hope so. Well, that's all I got for this time. But I'll be back with more videos. Glad today's over. Got quite a bit accomplished though. Quite a bit accomplished. That's all I got for this time, but I'll be back with more videos.